Right now on News 3 this morning, Saturday, honoring a hero. The Lake Mills community is coming together this weekend to pay their last respects to Captain Truman, a firefighter who sacrificed his life while saving strangers. Plus, new year, new laws. We'll take a look at some of the new regulations you'll want to know about on this first weekend of 2019. And a new tool is being used at an area prison to help break the cycle of drug addiction.
This is News 3 This Morning, Saturday.
Good morning and welcome to News 3 This Morning, Saturday. It is 5 in the morning on January 5th. I'm Josh Brighter with meteorologist Chris Reese, and a nice mild weekend on tap after a little bit of a cold snap this week.
Yeah, it will be a mild weekend. It's like I've brought the Atlanta weather back with me. Oddly enough, it was cold for them. I kind of had to laugh a little bit with all the heaters on down south. But the weather that they had is going to be similar to what we experience here in terms of temperatures. Right now, though, still feeling a little colder out there. 24 degrees right now. The winds are calm, so you don't need to worry about a wind chill at all if you are stepping out the door. Temperatures are 30 at Janesville, 32 as you work your way over towards Monroe, even Mineral Point at 32. The general theme, though, is the farther south and west you are, the warmer temperatures will be, and that's going to be moving its way towards the north and east as we go throughout the day, taking a step back out just a little bit. Even parts of Minnesota are warmer than we are just because they are farther to the west as that next wave of warmer air begins to work its way on into the picture. Clear skies generally over the entire state. We are seeing some streaks of cloud cover back to the north and west, and that'll impact our weather later on. But for the most part, expect a pretty beautiful day and temperatures that are going to warm up very well. We are talking 44 degrees for your highs today after starting out at 24, which is where we are right now. Overall, in the bigger picture, we are watching a system start to make itself form together over the plains, and that's going to be impacting our weather. So in your weather headlines, yes, prepare for a pleasant Saturday, but those clouds will be on the increase with the next system coming in late tomorrow.
Hard to believe it's January 5th with that forecast.
It really is. This is still a very springtime sounding forecast. We'll hang on to it.
I hope so. All right, Chris, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
New overnight, police have an alleged robber in custody this morning after they say he tried to rob two gas stations. The first happened at the Quick Trip on the 2600 block of Fish Hatchery Road, where an employee working at the time says Anthony Post entered the store with a BB gun. When the employee pointed out the BB gun, Post left the store. That's when he headed to the Speedway station on the 2800 block of Fish Hatchery. There he was arrested by Fitchburg police. Post now faces attempted robbery charges. The Lake Mills community is preparing to lay a beloved firefighter to rest this weekend. Captain Chris Truman was hit on the belt line while he was helping a stranded driver in the snow. Visitations will take place at Lake Mills High School today from 3 to 7 and tomorrow from 2 to 3. Captain Truman's funeral service will then start at 3 Sunday. Meanwhile, 28-year-old Samuel Kramers of Columbus is facing charges of homicide by intoxicated use of a vehicle in that crash that killed Truman. If convicted, he could face up to 25 years in prison. Records show this is his first drunk driving offense. Two businesses in Lake Mills are holding fundraiser events this weekend in honor of Captain Truman. The Lake Mills Market Grocery Store has started a donation drive in his honor, and the Culvers in Lake Mills will be holding a fundraiser on Tuesday. The restaurant said it will donate 10% of sales to the Lake Mills Fire Department. In light of Captain Truman's death, a nonprofit dedicated to ending drunk driving is once again pushing for changes to Wisconsin's OWI laws. Marla Hall works at a market in Lake Mills. She lost her son to a drunk driver back in 2016. Marla says the worst part of those deaths is that both were preventable.
You need to make plans when you're going out ahead of time, because you know you're going to be drinking. And there's so many, there's Uber, there's Lyft. You should have friends, relatives that can pick you up.
Marla heads up that nonprofit group, now working with lawmakers to introduce bills this coming session to make the state's drunk driving punishments tougher. That includes making first-time OWI offenses misdemeanors. An attorney for the man accused of killing Captain Truman tells News 3 his client was under the legal limit. Kramer's lawyer, Sean O'Connell, says Kramer's blew a .079 during a breathalyzer test. That's just below .08, which is Wisconsin's legal limit to drive. Former Dane County Assistant District Attorney Jim Verhoff says the weather was likely a factor in this case, and he believes it's a tough one for prosecutors to navigate.
In a case where the weather conditions are terrible, it rained all morning and then turned to snow, and someone's coming down the belt line and there's a crash, I mean, it's certainly a tragedy. And the question is going to be whether or not this is criminal or not.
No formal charges have been filed so far against Kramers. Time right now is 5:05, and it's a new year, and that means new laws for people nationwide. Here in Wisconsin, a new law is in place for 2019, now requiring the state and its insurers to pay for transgender surgery for its employees. When it was approved last fall, a U.S. district judge said there was no legal reason to exclude medically necessary care for the employees. The ACLU says the decision is a step toward ensuring that transgender people's rights to simply be themselves are protected. This all came about after a UW grad student and med school researcher filed a lawsuit last year when they were denied treatment their doctors had determined was a necessary part of the gender transitions. Illinois will now join Wisconsin in letting hunters wear pink along with blaze orange. The governor there approved the bill last year, expanding the color options for hunting in 2019. The pink still has to be equally as bright as blaze orange, though. Minimum wage will increase in 20 states in the new year, including our neighbors to the west. Minnesota's minimum wage will increase to adjust to inflation, meaning big employers will now have to pay workers $9.86. That's up 21 cents from last year. Workers for small employers will see a 17-cent hike at $8.04. The price of stamps is going up at the end of the month. The Forever stamp is going up from 50 cents to 55 cents on January 27th. Reports indicate the United States Postal Service is trying to offset losses from this past year, which was around $4 billion. 7 minutes past 5 right now, and the government shutdown has entered its third week now. This is day 15. It comes just a couple of days after the new 116th Congress began its session. The new divided Congress is led by House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, who says her colleagues must be pioneers of the future.
Together, we will let it be known that this House will truly be the people's House.
We need a bicameral, bipartisan, compromise solution.
House Democrats passed bills to reopen the government as their first legislative acts. Those bills did not include new funding for the border wall, which is the sticking point for President Trump and Senate Republicans. The new Congress is already setting records. The 116th Congress is the most racially diverse and has the most women elected to the House in congressional history. That includes the first Native American Congresswoman, Sharice Davids of Kansas, and Deb Haaland in New Mexico, and the first Muslim Congresswoman, Rashida Tlaib of Michigan, and Ilhan Omar of Minnesota. The House now has 100 Congresswomen, the biggest boost of women members since the 1990s. As our state's newly elected leaders prepare to take office this week, there's a local push to get more women elected. The new class of Wisconsin state legislators that will take office includes 35 women, 27% in total. The problem isn't that women aren't winning elections. A new study by the UW Extension says they're not running in the first place. They cite confidence as a reason why, as well as safety concerns about going door to door, collecting signatures to get on the ballot. Local advocacy groups say they won't stop pushing for more female representation until half of all offices are held by women. Outgoing Governor Scott Walker says he may run for public office again in the future, but it won't be for president. He said he turned down a few offers to be part of the Trump administration because they just weren't the right fit. Friday, Walker said he is more interested in a U.S. Senate position, possibly in 2022, saying if fellow Republicans like Rick Scott, Florida's former governor who was just elected to the Senate, find success in Washington, they could make positive change together.
If the two of my friends there say that you can actually get something done, and maybe a group of us could do something to shift power back to places like Wisconsin, I'd be very interested.
For now, he'll live in downtown Milwaukee. His immediate plans are to hit the speaking circuit, specifically talking about the benefits of limited government. Governor Walker says he did already leave a letter for incoming Governor Tony Evers. It includes some of the best advice he's gotten from governors ahead of him. We want to take some time to talk this morning about the value of being yourself. According to the latest survey of 7th and 8th graders in Dane County, about half of those students feel the pressure of schoolwork. About 1 in 5 are stressed about what others think about them. Luckily, there are teachers like Maria Carvalho. She's a special education teacher at Savannah Oaks Elementary who works every day to make sure students of all abilities are finding their greatness. She can relate to anyone feeling different or out of place or different because she's been there too.
Once I was able to focus on myself and not be bothered by the negative people and the ones that were really being judgmental, then I was even able to see those that were there to help me. But it's hard.
Tomorrow morning, we'll tell you how Maria's personal experiences help her guide her kids and encourage them to be confident in their own skin. Danica Lewis has that story on News 3 This Morning, Sunday. The old Sam's Club building on Madison's west side is one step closer to becoming a new home decor store. The city's Urban Design Commission is looking into where At Home wants to put up signs before the store opens on Watts Road. That company is moving into the vacant building after Walmart rejected a proposal to have the Boys and Girls Club of Dane County take over the space. If it's approved, this would be the third At Home location in Wisconsin. No word on exactly when it will open. The Rock County Sheriff's Office says they have a new way to help those addicted to opioids transition back into society. The department received a $500,000 grant to purchase Vivitrol. It's a drug that can help reduce the urge to use drugs for up to a month. Newly elected Sheriff Troy Knudsen says giving outgoing inmates Vivitrol can help with the transition process.
Those first 30 days are absolutely critical in order to be able to connect with the resources that are out there. We have good resources in our community, but if immediately upon leaving the jail you're pulled back into that lifestyle, you never really get the opportunity to take advantage of those resources.
Knudsen says getting the shot of Vivitrol will now be optional for outgoing inmates who have been battling addiction in the past. Rock County residents can now get medical care from the comfort of their own homes. Mercy Health has launched an online resource called Mercy Health Virtual Visit. It allows patients to connect with primary care providers from their phones, tablets, and computers. Patients suffering minor illness, such as those listed on your screen, can use the service. Wisconsin providers are available virtually from 8 to 5 Monday through Friday and can even prescribe medication during those consultations. You can set up your appointments online. Just about 5:13 this morning, and after a bit of a cold snap this week, we're in for a warm-up this weekend. Here's a live look over the Capitol this Saturday morning. Chris is in next to tell us just how warm we'll get in his first alert forecast. This is News 3 This Morning, Saturday.
We're waking up on a very chilly Saturday. Temperature starting out right around 24 degrees for us here in south central Wisconsin, but things are going to be getting much nicer as we head into the rest of the afternoon. Clear skies right now. That's going to transform towards sunshine. Just give it a couple more hours. In the meantime, this morning a little bit colder than we were at this time yesterday by about 5 to 10 degrees, depending on where you are. Elsewhere, you're about the same as where you were yesterday. That's because that warmer air is starting to work its way in from the south and west. So you see 30s as you work your way over towards the Mississippi River Valley, teens and 20s as you work your way closer towards central Wisconsin or over towards the lake shore. But zooming things out as a whole, generally, we are in a little bit of a milder pattern that's going to be taking over the upper Midwest, and that's going to be lasting for quite a few days here. Still no rain or snow to track for us. There is some snow flying across parts of Canada right now. That should not impact us at all. In fact, we are going to be staying mainly clear today, watching some cloud cover, though, begin to stream in from the north and west. But the reality is the entire country is fairly quiet. That's because high pressure is going to be taking control of the upper Midwest, and as that does so, that's going to shape up for a beautiful weekend for us. Now, you see that cloud cover starting to develop back to the south and west in that region of low pressure coming out of Colorado. That is what is going to become our next system headed into Sunday. It's going to bring a little bit of a wintry mix along with some rain our way. Let's go ahead and take you hour by hour, though, and planning your weekend. Expect temperatures around 40 by lunchtime today, 44 for those highs. And again, we're not looking at any kind of cloud cover, so still plenty of sunshine. That snow is going to continue to be melting. That is out there. We'll have a weak cold front come through later, but then comes the warm front as we head into your Sunday. Notice the clouds as we head into Sunday morning, thickening up into the afternoon. We may start things off Sunday night with a little bit of a mix before going over to all rain into your Monday. We are mild for now, but as the upper air pattern goes towards the next weekend, we are looking at one shot of colder air that is eventually going to be replaced with milder air again. So there is no long-term cold or really below average temperatures showing up in our forecast. Yes, we have some cold days over the next 7 to 10 days, but the reality is things are looking fairly mild and will continue to look mild until we probably get into at least the 3rd or 4th week of January. But still, we do have some snow chances in the forecast. You'll have that mix tomorrow night along with other chances for snow headed into next weekend.
I'm just focused on that 44 degrees right now.
44 degrees. I think we're going to take that for January 5th, buddy.
For sure. All right, Chris, thank you.
My pleasure.
Well, this warm weather in Wisconsin has delayed the production of ice castles on Lake Geneva. Workers hope to open the winter wonderland at the start of the new year, but mild temperatures and rain put a damper on their plans. Visit Lake Geneva's target opening date was set for January 10th, but warm weather this weekend could push that back once again. 5:19 right now, a Beatle is out with new music, and one of the biggest daytime talk shows has a new co-host. Plus, there are several shows and movies for you to enjoy this weekend. Will's in next with 3 things to watch on News 3 This Morning, Saturday. It is 5:22 this morning. Ahead of his tour stop in Madison, Paul McCartney is out with new music using the help of auto-tune. The new song is called Get Enough. It's a collaboration with One Republic's Ryan Tedder, among others. The Beatles' icon released its latest album, Egypt Station, 4 months ago. He'll play selections from it along with some of the greatest hits when he stops in Madison this June. If you're a fan of the daytime programming here on WISC, you probably noticed a new face on The Talk. Carrie Ann Inaba has officially joined the show as its 5th co-host, replacing Julie Chen. The Dancing with the Stars judge made her official debut this week after months of filling in. As for Chen, she left the show last year amid sexual misconduct allegations against her husband, Les Moonves, the former chairman of CBS. From TV to the big screen, there are several movies and films for you to enjoy this weekend. Here's Will Loper with 3 things to watch.
Need some help?
No, I'm good.
Let me take a look.
You know anything about cars?
No, not really.
New this week on Digital HD is The Old Man and the Gun.
Excuse me, I'd like to open up an account.
Well, great. What type of account do you have in mind?
This kind.
Robert Redford stars in the true story of a 70-year-old man out on a string of heists.
He was very polite.
He seemed like a nice enough fella.
Look at that. Is he smiling?
The Old Man and the Gun is available to rent or buy on all digital platforms now.
He spent his whole life locked up, except for the times that he broke out.
Somebody should have told him to quit while he was in.
Well, you find something you love.
The El Royale is a bi-state establishment. You have the option to choose a room in either California or Nevada.
Newly arrived on home video is Bad Times at the El Royale.
How'd you end up at the El Royale?
The Ritz-Carlton was booked.
Jeff Bridges, Dakota Johnson, John Hamm, and many more star as strangers who all converge on a motel and learn dark secrets about one another.
Lonely nights that come, memories that flow, bring
You watch me?
I only watch who they tell me to watch.
Who's they?
Management.
Bad Times at the El Royale is available to rent or buy everywhere now. Finally settle into the cold weather with 2014's Winter Sleep.
Aslında iyi öğrenim görmüş, dürüst, adil bir insansın. Ancak yeri geldiğinde bu erdemlerinle insanı boğan, küçük düşüren, aşağılayan bir hava taşıyorsun.
A former actor runs a hotel with his wife and sister, and as the snow falls, they find themselves trapped where things get a bit testy.
Artık yaşlandım mı? Kafayı mı oynattım? Yoksa başka bir adam mı oldum? Nasıl istersen öyle düşün.
Winter Sleep is available to rent or buy everywhere now. Enjoy those films. Those are 3 things you need to watch, and this is Will Loper for News 3 This Morning, Saturday.
Well, the numbers are in, and last year was a record-setting one for Walt Disney Studios. It had its 2nd biggest year ever at the box office. Disney made more than $7 billion globally in 2018. It's the only studio to ever reach that high of a number. Disney credits hits like Marvel's Black Panther and Avengers Infinity War for the record year. It's just about 5:27 this morning. Still to come, we have a check of today's top stories, and we'll tell you how you can pay tribute to a fallen Wisconsin hero this weekend. And one of the world's most visited cities has a new law that will help it become less crowded. A look at the tourist tax and how it could impact your travel when News 3 This Morning Saturday returns. Beware of the Bird Box Challenge. The new Netflix-inspired stunts are taking social media by storm, and now a warning all parents should hear.
This is News 3 This Morning, Saturday.
Good morning and welcome back to News 3 This Morning, Saturday, 5:30 on this January 5th. I'm Josh Breiter. Meteorologist Chris Reese is tracking a mild weekend here in southern Wisconsin, but first here's what's making news this morning. The Lake Mills community is hosting a pair of visitations this weekend to honor the life and legacy of Captain Chris Truman. He was hit and killed on the Beltline this week while helping a driver stranded in the snow. The visitations take place at Lake Mills High School today from 3 to 7 o'clock and tomorrow from 2 to 3. Captain Truman's funeral service will start at 3 Sunday. Meanwhile, 28-year-old Samuel Creamers of Columbus is facing charges of homicide by intoxicated use of a vehicle in that crash that killed Truman. If convicted, he could face up to 25 years in prison. Records show this is his first drunk driving offense. The price of stamps is going up at the end of the month. The Forever stamp is going up from 50 cents to 55 cents on January 27th. Reports indicate the United States Postal Service is trying to offset losses from this past year, which was around $4 billion. The 10% price bump is the largest in U.S. history. As our state's newly elected leaders prepare to take office next week, there's a local push to get more women elected. The new class of Wisconsin state legislators taking office includes 35 women, 27% in total. The problem isn't that women aren't winning elections. A new study by the UW Extension says they're not running in the first place. They cite confidence as a reason why, as well as safety concerns about going door to door collecting signatures to get onto the ballot. Local advocacy groups say they won't stop pushing for more female representation until half of all offices are held by women. 5:32 right now, and already a mild start out there this morning, Chris.
That's right, Josh. Temperatures are starting out into the middle 20s this morning at 24 degrees right now. Winds are calm, so you don't have to worry about a wind chill if you're going to be stepping out early at all. But here's the deal. Back towards the south and west, we're already starting to see temperatures approaching 32 degrees. Mineral Point, one of those cities. Same for Monroe. Janesville at 30. You work up your way towards Wautoma, you're at 14 degrees. But the farther south and west you go, of course, the warmer we are, and that's going to be moving its way towards the north and east in due time. In fact, zooming out some, you'll still see warmer conditions farther to the west. And per usual, weather typically moving from west to the east. So do expect that warm up to come, coupled with plenty of sunshine as well. We still have clear skies out there. Now we'll see more and more cloud cover begin to stream in across the northern half of the state later on today, and then eventually for us as we work your way into your Sunday. But temperature wise, we're going to be topping out right around 44 degrees this afternoon. Some of us may even get a little bit warmer, but as we wait for this next system to come into the picture, do know that we are talking the next chance for rain and snow as we arrive into your Sunday, Josh.
Chris, thank you. New this morning, police now have an alleged robber in custody after they say he tried to rob a pair of gas stations overnight. The first happened at the Quick Trip on the 2600 block of Fish Hatchery Road, where an employee working at the time says Anthony Post entered the store with a BB gun. When the employee pointed out the BB gun, Post left the store. That's when he headed to the Speedway station on the 2800 block of Fish Hatchery. There he was arrested by Fitchburg police. Post now faces attempted robbery charges. A new program hopes to stop overcrowding in one of the world's most visited cities. Around 30 million people visit Venice, Italy every year, and locals say the city has become a Disneyland for tourists. Its famed canals are a picture-perfect setting for people visiting Italy. To deal with the crowds, the city plans to charge tourists who come for only a day up to $11.50. The new tax will be highest at peak tourist times. It's not clear yet how or when it will be imposed. The city's mayor says money would go toward keeping the city clean. Since 1951, the city's population has plummeted to fewer than 55,000 people, but it can see on average more than 80,000 visitors per day. Other cities in Italy are also looking into a similar fee. To help prevent traffic jams, some major cities like New York are considering charging fees for vehicle access. This is causing drivers to consider alternative forms of transportation. One of the newest is the three-wheeled electric vehicle known as the Solo, made by Electrica Mechanica. As a one-seater, the Solo is sparking debate about whether it's a motorcycle or a car. The Solo is classified as a motorcycle, but no helmet is required. And in Los Angeles, it's allowed in the HOV lane. The vehicle's creator says the Solo is safe.
We have front crash testing, and we've incorporated what we learned from that into the construction of the vehicle. You have side reinforced doors. You have a roll bar that's built into the cabin.
Drive 100 miles on single charge. About 5,000 Solos are set to hit the streets next year. Netflix has issued a rare safety warning about the risks of a new social media challenge inspired by the hit movie Bird Box. The R-rated film stars Sandra Bullock, who plays a blindfolded mother fleeing from a sinister force. Jamie Yukis reports.
Never, ever take off your blindfold. If you look, you will die. Do you understand?
In Bird Box, Sandra Bullock is tormented by evil creatures that turn anyone who sees them suicidal. She and her children wear blindfolds to make their escape. Blindfolded copycats have now popped up on social media. This woman nearly burns herself on a heater.
Take it slow.
This boy repeatedly crashes into furniture with his tricycle. Ow. And this toddler slams into a wall. Oh. On Wednesday, Netflix tweeted in all caps, "Please do not hurt yourselves with this Bird Box challenge." It also cautioned fans to not end up in the hospital.
Companies are always a little concerned when something takes off that's out of their control.
Rebecca Keegan, senior film editor of The Hollywood Reporter, also believes Netflix senses a marketing opportunity for the movie.
The first time I heard about the quote-unquote Bird Box Challenge was by Netflix warning people about the Bird Box Challenge.
Did you ever think it was going to be anything like this?
The company, famously secretive about its viewership figures, boasted more than 45 million accounts stream Bird Box in its first 7 days. Numbers that can't be independently verified.
Bird Box was released in theaters for only a week before Netflix started streaming it. And although the movie did well in test screenings prior to its release, Keegan says even Netflix has been taken aback by the audience response. Jamie Yukis, CBS News, New York.
Netflix says more than 45 million accounts have streamed the movie so far. That would represent 1/3 of its subscribers. Thinking of making a career switch in the new year? Well, it turns out you're not alone. New research shows a lot of people don't love their jobs. The Motley Fool website points to a survey from Great Place to Work. It shows 60% of employees say they are unhappy with their jobs. That means only 40% are satisfied at work. And if you're looking to clear your home of holiday decorations, a Brown County Zoo is willing to help you out. The Northeastern Wisconsin Zoo, also known as the new zoo in Swamico, is now accepting Christmas tree donations. They say the trees can provide hours of fun for their elk, antelope, and other critters. Just make sure that they have no tinsel or decorations and are locally sourced. The zoo is open every day from 9 in the morning until 4 in the afternoon. 5:38 right now. Are you looking for something to do this weekend? Well, we've got some ideas for you and the family. From a family fun gala celebrating the soon-to-be governor to several music shows for people of all tastes. Your Weekend 608 is coming up next on News 3 This Morning, Saturday.
It's going to be a pretty mostly sunny day around town. Here's live high-resolution Doppler showing you there is not a lot for us to track. In fact, we will be tracking temperatures, if anything, going from 28 to 40 throughout the morning, topping out right around 44 as we work your way into the afternoon.
Well, it is the weekend in the 608.
That's right, Josh, and here's a look at what's going on in the Madison area.
Let's start off with a couple of events fun for the whole family this weekend. Today, the Madison Children's Museum is hosting a Madison Kids Gala organized by the 2019 Wisconsin Gubernatorial Inauguration Committee. The event will include activities, music, snacks, and hellos by Governor-elect Tony Evers. You'll want to get there early if you haven't bought tickets in advance, as space is limited. The gala runs from 9:30 until noon.
And another great option celebrates our state's famous naturalist. It's Aldo Leopold Day. In the Discovery Building on North Orchard Street is hosting a free science day to honor him. Kids and nature lovers can identify different animal tracks and make their own nature journals or weather instruments. The fun starts at 10 and runs until noon.
The Majestic Theater continues to offer nonstop music this weekend as well. Last night was the Wisconsin Bluegrass Fest, but tonight at 8, it is Wisconsin Punk Fest. Tonight's lineup features Direct Hit, The Hussy, and The Avenues.
The High Noon Saloon will also be busy. Tonight at 9, they host Midwest musicians for the annual Winter Fire Night. Female singer and songwriter Mackenzie Moore of Roxbury, Madison musician Beth Killay, and 2018 Madison Alternative Performer of the Year Karen Wheelock will take the stage, all starting at 7 o'clock.
Plus, tonight, the Brink Lounge welcomes Madison's own Grateful Dead tribute band Lackin' Some Direction. And tomorrow night, the Wilmar neighborhood will host Madison Scottish country dancing from 7 to 9:30. No partner or experience is needed.
And as usual, this is your reminder that you can get this month's Madison magazine for more suggestions of what's happening around the area.
It is 5:44 right now. We are in for a mild weekend on this first weekend of the new year.
That is right, Josh. Here's a live look over the Capitol. We are already seeing some mild temperatures out there this morning. Your full forecast is coming up next.
But first, happy birthday to all of the kiddos turning 3 today. Thanks for celebrating with us on News 3 This Morning, Saturday.
Temperatures are starting out in the 20s this morning, already at 24 degrees, but we're going to see those temperatures continue to warm as we go throughout the day. Oddly enough, we're 10 degrees colder than we were at this time yesterday here in Madison. As you work your way towards the west, though, places like Boscobel are 4 degrees warmer than they were at this time yesterday. They're at 27 right now, 32 in Mineral Point, same for Monroe. And generally, things are warmer across the south and west. That is what we're going to see going through the day. Eventually, those temperatures are going to be warming up for all of us. Sunshine will be the case as well. We are clear across pretty much all of Wisconsin right now. Some light snow is falling across Canada. That should not impact us in any way, shape, or form. Now, we are looking at a little bit of cloud cover trying to stream in from the west. I don't think this batch is going to make it in just yet, just because we're quiet across the entire country. But eventually, what you are seeing across the high plains will begin to increase in coverage and then bring more cloud cover to us. But for now, high pressure is going to remain in control over the upper Midwest going through today and early on Sunday. But here comes that cloud cover into Sunday afternoon. That's going to be overspreading the state along with our next chance of precipitation coming into the picture. Let's go ahead and take you hour by hour through today. By lunchtime, we'll see those temperatures approaching 40 degrees, topping out at 44 by about 3 o'clock or so. Temperatures will fall back into the 20s tonight. Then tomorrow, we're back into the 30s, but we won't get as warm because that cloud cover is going to be on the increase. I suspect we'll top out around 38. Things at the very beginning may start out as a little bit of light rain or snow, or sleet or snow rather, before going over towards all rain as we head into your Monday. Monday itself could be a very soggy, warm day. That means a lot of that snow that is on the ground will certainly be melting. But here's the deal. We're in a pattern that is mild right now, that colder air over Canada. As we get you towards the middle of the weekend, towards next weekend, I do think we're going to see at least a little shot of some colder air come in, but that's all it is. It's a little shot, just because that milder pattern then takes over after that. It's going to be a while probably before we truly get into some colder temperatures. Even though things will be cold, we're likely going to be staying above average for some time. So plan for those above average temperatures as we go through the next 7 to 10 days. We do have at least a chance for rain this weekend and another chance for rain and snow as we head towards next weekend. So there's your pet walk. Say hello to Ella and Sun Prairie.
I just keep thinking the longer we can stay warm like this, the closer spring will be here.
The closer spring will be, but you don't want winter to happen in spring. I hear that has a tendency to happen around here.
Let's not have that happen again.
I know.
All right, Chris, thank you. Well, we've been asking you to share your morning with us, and Dan Cassidy posted this on Facebook. Check that out. It's like kind of a frozen landscape right there.
Yeah, that is truly a winter wonderland.
Very picturesque, that is. Well, what does your morning look like? Be sure to take a picture, post it to Channel 3000 Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. Use the hashtag MyNews3Morning, and that's how we can pick out our favorites and air them right here on the morning show. 5:51 right now. There's a full hour of real news ahead at 8, and then tomorrow on News 3 This Morning Sunday, we'll have more on the life and legacy of Captain Truman as southern Wisconsin comes together to honor the Southwest firefighter. But first on our news this morning, start spreading the news. We'll meet the man on a mission to walk every street in America's biggest city. That's when News 3 This Morning Saturday continues. Welcome back at 5:54. One man has made it his mission to walk every street in New York City. Thousands of miles and years later, he's almost to the finish line.
His journey is now being showcased on the big screen. Kenneth Craig joined him for a city walk to find out what keeps him going.
I'm walking every block in the city.
We caught up with Matt Green on the streets of Queens, doing perhaps what he loves most, walking.
There's something that just feels good about being outside and moving around.
He's been logging upwards of 25 miles a day for nearly 7 years now, with a mission to touch every corner of New York City's 5 boroughs.
I just thought that was such a cool idea of a way to see a place.
He told us his obsession started almost a decade ago, when he gave up his desk job as a civil engineer and packed his bags for a 3,000-mile walk from coast to coast.
I basically had a tent with me, and I would knock on people's doors and just ask if I could camp in their yards.
Not long after that, he started his trek across the Big Apple. And over the past 7 years, he's covered more than 9,000 urban miles, venturing into neighborhoods native New Yorkers may never see.
If you're just walking somewhere and open to seeing what's there and who's there, that it's always going to be a fascinating experience.
His experience has been captured in a new documentary film.
Thank you.
From his interactions with complete strangers,
I'm independently homeless,
to his moments of peace. And all of this on just $15 a day. He couch surfs, living off his savings, donations, and pet sitting money.
Are there any days you wake up and go, what am I doing? Why am I still walking?
I mean, I never, it's such a fulfilling thing to do that I don't have that question like a big picture sense, but there are definitely days when I get up and I just don't feel like going outside.
Green has just a few hundred miles left.
It's just given me nothing to do in my life other than to look around. Only because of that I've realized like how much I've always overlooked in my life before that.
He says his walk is a long, open-ended journey, and he's compelled to just keep going. Kenneth Craig, CBS News, New York.
This project was much bigger than Matt originally expected. He planned to walk every city street in 2.5 years, but so far the journey's taken him about 8.
Certainly, yeah, certainly a much bigger project, but power to him. I think that is absolutely showing true dedication.
I love when he said he only had a few hundred miles left, and that's only I don't know about that.
A few hundred. Well, I'll tell you what, we're only going to make it to 44
Only.
When average temperatures are typically right around 26 for this time of the year. So we're warming up. 38 into your Sunday. Rain chances coming in for your Monday especially. But we'll see sunshine through the middle of the week. By Friday and into next Saturday, we are looking at least a chance for snow. Kind of hope that plays out. That'll be a great birthday gift for next Sunday. But we're looking at some sunshine by next Sunday, followed up with perhaps a chance of snow next Monday as well. So overall, a quiet pattern, but still a little active.
All right, Chris, thank you. And thank you for joining us. CBS This Morning Saturdays coming up next. We'll see you back here at 8 o'clock.
Making plans that are weather dependent? Get an accurate 12-hour, even a 10-day forecast. Download the Channel 3000 First Alert Weather app and start planning.